Good morning. Welcome to the August AEE Chapter Leadership webinar. We're really glad that you took time today to join us, and we're looking forward to a great presentation from Michael Hewson today. But before we get into that, we're going to hear an AEE update from Sharon Hewson. Yes, they're related, and we're glad that they are. So a couple of quick things. Those of you who've been on our webinars before already know this. If you look to the right side of the screen, there is a little button for chat and a little button for questions down towards the bottom of the screen insert. If you have a question, tap on the question button and ask a question, type it in. Both Sharon and I will be looking for them. And as soon as the questions come in at the appropriate time, we will answer them. Make sure you get your questions answered. If you just have a chat comment and it's relevant to the whole group, we'll bring that out. So sit back, get ready to learn something really good about marketing for AEE chapters and getting an AEE update. Sharon, over to you.
Thank you, Bob. Hi, everyone. Just a quick update here from AEE. We do this each time just to let you know what's going on. Really, there's not much change since we spoke to you last time. Do just want to remind you of a couple of things. If I can get my computer to work here. Okay. We obviously have AEE World coming up next month. I hope many of you are thinking of joining us for that. If not, please go ahead and do that as soon as you can. Our hotel prices will be changing pretty soon, so make sure that you get in as soon as you can on that. Give me just a second. It does not want to change up here. Bob, can you just tell me, what are you looking at? What screen do you see?
AEE World Conference.
Well, okay, that's fine. Thanks. So in addition to that, just want to bring to your attention, we do have our events set for 2020. We have East happening in Cincinnati in April. We have West in Seattle in June, and World will be in Colorado next year in September. So again, we'll be looking to see many of you there if you can make it. We also have another event, AEE Europe. I think I told you guys about this one last time also. This is happening October 2020 in Dublin in Ireland. This will be our first event of this type outside of the US. So we'll follow a similar format to our other events here in the US, but this will be the first one we've done outside of the US. So we're really quite excited about this one too. So thank you for listening to me, and I am going to pass you over to Michael Hewson.
Hey there, everyone. So Michael here. Just to follow up on what Sharon was just talking about there with the dates, we're actually got a mailer going out, and it should start to hit in the next 2 weeks or so. A save your date postcard, so you should start to see all those dates coming through then as well. That's just one piece that we're trying to get out there. So do you want to go to the next screen? I want to give you a bit of basic introduction to myself, because I probably haven't met a great deal of you, although I've been involved with AEE for quite some time now. So just a quick introduction on myself. My details are at the bottom of the screen there. So any questions on what I'm going to go over, and specifically something on the last slide that I want to talk about, I'd really like you to contact me. You can either call me or email me. But basically, my experience, I've had 16 years experience in marketing in a software and instrumentation company, and that's how we ended up in the US. Obviously, you can tell probably from my accent that I'm not from around these parts. So we came over in 2000, did a lot of work in oil, gas, defense markets, and then I had about 7 years involvement with AEE, starting as a contractor, freelance designer and marketer back in 2012. So I've got quite some experience with what we do. And then I spent 2 years working for TFP, and presumably a lot of you are familiar with the Fairmont Press. who used to obviously do the other side of the events, the expos and the training. And at the beginning of this year, in January, when TFP and AEE sort of dissolved contracts, I came and started to work directly for AEE. So I'm going to jump on the next slide, Sharon, if you can. So with that, obviously I've got a great deal of experience in print, digital, mail, instructional design, email marketing, websites, online marketing, the whole holistic view of marketing. I've had a great deal of experience with US and international, especially support for sales rep networks. And I'd consider these very much like chapters. So I'm hoping to be able to support you a great deal more going forward. Maybe why you haven't heard of me this year, obviously coming in January, we had a great deal of rebranding to do, especially for the 3 events. We had to build everything up from scratch, the websites, the documentation, the support for the shows. So a great deal of my time has been going into that effort. And then obviously I've been trying to align the brand as well from a brand management point of view. And also building up some of the training programs, so putting the education website together and supporting the collection of information for all that work that we've done. So we'll jump on the next slide there. So what I want to get to, once World is over, I'll be putting a lot more effort into the membership marketing and the chapter support. And I really want to see how, firstly, all of these materials that I'm putting together, how we can get them to you so that you guys can use them. Whether that's starting to put them on a Dropbox or a OneDrive, whether we need a website access login area or possibly using SharePoint. So I'd love to get some of your feedback on how you can get access, or what would be the best way that you'd like to access some of these digital materials that we're putting together, whether they're documents or flyers or postcards or agenda items, you know, all these things, and what format you like them in, you know, just a PDF to use them exactly as they are, or would you like, you know, a PowerPoint or the source files to be able to maybe modify and tailor some of these things. We can do all of that down the road. I'd like to try and standardize on something rather than customizing for every chapter, because obviously the resources and the effort that we need to get into to go down that road, really try and optimize those resources. And I want to get your feedback on some things as well, so that we can produce the tools that we need, basically for you. We're currently going through a process here where we've collected some, we've created some committees, one on training, one on certification, one on membership, and I'm part of the membership committee. And we met last week on that, and we really did come to a conclusion that the membership and the chapters are obviously very integrated. I'm sure you all believe this as well. You know, you're the lifeblood of the association. You know, supporting you and helping you do what you can do to the best of your abilities would then help the membership flow as well. So there's definitely a priority for that from my point of view once we get AEE World over, and I've really set the groundwork for the events going into future years. So we want to focus on them new members and obviously try and retain the existing members. So the question is how we're going to do that, and how we're going to support you. So some of the ideas that we were floating around with these great minds that were in this committee. So things like job fair kits for you guys. So you know, a kit that we could send you that you could then take to the job fairs. You know, this was one item that was brought forward. And again, these are just ideas that might not be the priority, but certainly some good ideas we've got is how to get young people introduced to AE and how to then maintain them through the course of their life, and how to especially we might have some like high school or university chapters, but how often do we lose the individuals going from university through to when they become, let's say, a CEM in that next 10-year span? So things that we can really help with trying to retain those individuals. So whether it's a student library or resources, we talked about a series of guides really to get the value of AEE across, the value of the benefits, the information, how do I network with AEE? What do I do there? Maybe there's questions about the certifications and how maybe which certification is interesting for me, for my career path. So things like that and career development, how to be a mentor, maybe a small guide for that, because there's a lot of people want to give back. And I think a lot of those people are in the chapters. And then maybe a little guide to leadership as well, or how to promote energy practitioners, energy efficient individuals into leadership. And then obviously the career jobs website that we used to have that is obviously needs rebuilding. So these are just some ideas that were floating around, how we can support chapters, how we can try and involve individuals more in AEE. So I'd love to get some of your ideas on them. And I propose, if we jump to the next show. So I need your feedback to prioritize and identify what we want to do. And I'd love for you to give me, send me an email, call me up and say, okay, this is the biggest issue I'm having. But I think these 1, 2, 3, 4 questions that I've got here, if you could give me the top 3 pain points or things that you need. So what issues do members experience? What do we need to fix? What's broken? Or how can we help them? Whether it's cost, whether they just don't have time to get involved, whether it's the recognition that they receive for their experience, maybe what confuses members about AEE, is it the local versus national chapter membership versus national membership issue? Is it the array certifications? What benefits do I get from AEE? And do I know that they're available? And then we've got, what can we do to retain the members? Is it cost again? Is it they need more value, and what sort of value are they looking for? And then, lastly, what tools do we need? So again, I've covered it before, some of those ideas that were flowed in. And it's how can we help you to support your activities? Because I think when we do that, the membership will grow. So if you could, send me a quick email and just, even if it's bullet points, doesn't have to be paragraphs of text, but, just say cost is an issue, or people don't have the time, that's the main. I want to get a vague idea, because I hear a lot of these issues, but it's trying to quantify them. Okay, and if we've got 29 people online now, and all 29 of you tell me that you're having issues differentiating the local membership versus the national membership, and that's what your members don't realize, then obviously that's a big issue. So with that, I would leave it right there. I'm not sure whether that's my full 20, 25 minutes, but certainly throw some questions into the question boxes there, and we'll take a look at them.
Michael, Bob here. Thank you very much for that. I was particularly interested in, as you ticked off some of those areas there, and let's go back to that slide, if we can, Sharon, that indicates mentorship. There's a bullet on one of the slides about number 4. Yeah, there you go. I think it's, that slide right there. We're talking about mentorship. A lot of good bullets there, Michael, and I appreciate that. But that's something that just me personally, I hadn't thought a whole lot about, but I should have, because some of the folks in our chapters have been involved in AEE for a long time and in many different ways. And one of the things that the Huntsville chapter does, when we do our CEM training, we have study sessions at night, each night during the regular training sessions before the exam. And we work with, we have people who have recently passed the exam that helps out those that are currently taking the class and preparing for the exam at the end of the week. So I guess that's a form of mentorship there, but that's a great idea. And maybe even on to your questions, I believe it was slide number 6, Sharon, if we could go to that one. If we could perhaps, Sharon, incorporate those particular questions as a follow-up. I'm sure we were going to get Michael will get a lot of feedback, but if we can incorporate those questions into a follow-up, into a poll for the next session in October, that might be a wise thing to do also. That way we can get some live feedback as we go through that. So just a thought for you to think about and to try there.
Okay. Hey, Bob, let me see if I can address some of those questions that are coming in now. The one thing I would just say is I thought it'd be easier for you guys just to email me. I could have sent a survey out with these things, but then, you know, everybody loves surveys, don't they? So that's why I was putting on my PowerPoint there to say basically just email me or call me. But let's have a look at these questions coming in. One issue has been having to belong to the chapter and AEE to get points for recertification. I'm not the best person to answer that question. If that's an issue, that you have to be a member of the chapter. I know we recommend that obviously people that are involved with the chapter be chapter members, I believe. And obviously we'd like all chapter members to be national members. I would, maybe I can find out whether you need to be a national, you know, I'm using the term national for, let's say, a member as opposed to a local member. I don't know whether local chapter member, if they're not a national member, whether chapters give out CEUs or not. So we'll maybe try and ask that question and answer it for you, John. Is this only for national chapters or international also? No, this is for AEE, so this is for both. Again, is it for two? How do you pronounce that? For two? I would love to, you know, standardize somewhat. There's obviously going to be differentiation between national, international, especially so. There's obviously going to be differences between, let's say, California and DC. But yeah, whatever we can do, this is for all chapters that I'm trying to support. The more help we can get in describing the value of the local chapter membership from the other chapters. Yeah, maybe I could put, just thinking out loud here, a template that you could fill in so that it is, let's say, well branded. It's got the value of the AE brand with it, but then you define what your local chapter does. Maybe I can put some examples of that together and then you take this template and adjust it locally. Only national membership counts for professional association membership points. Okay, somebody else. Oh, there you go, John. This is not something you can help with. Okay, do all chapters cultivate sponsors in addition to growing membership? That's a question I'm not sure of. Maybe somebody else can answer that one as well. So by sponsors, is that more of a mentor thing, or are you talking about actual physical sponsorship of, let's say, organizations to a chapter? I think we probably need that clarifying. Template is a great idea, yeah. So awesome, thank you, John. One obstacle for RMAE is travel for members to attend meetings for forums. Sub-chapters, okay. Right, so we can look into that, and you know, am I right in saying Ruth is really the main contact for chapters at the moment?
At the moment.
At the moment, and Michelle's, Michelle's getting much more involved. Michelle Whitlock, I don't know whether some of you know her or not. So, and Michelle obviously is in the array of marketing, so we can certainly bring Michelle in on some of this questions as well. Sponsors pay for membership at silver, gold, and platinum. Okay, yeah. So basically a higher level of investment. I would ask, is there a higher level of benefits to that? I found people struggle with renewing several certification and memberships, and hence sometimes they drop. Okay, so what I don't know. I'm not in the back end of our system, but we're in the process of evaluating and developing a new database. I know we made improvements a few years back now to the website and the system. We're in that process now. Sharon's actually one of the leads on that. She could probably talk to it more. Maybe you do that in a different webinar. But I think a new system would hopefully try and remove the friction. And that's in many areas. I know you hear these marketers talk about removing friction, and that is one of the biggest points is, if you don't make it easy for somebody to renew, to become a member, then they'll likely stop what they're doing because they don't have the time and move on to something else. So the less friction we can have in our processes, the better. And I'd fight for that every step of the way. So, and even, for me, the main friction point is information. So if I give people the value of membership, or give people, okay, this is how you renew and this is how you maintain, then if we can build information and disperse it properly, then that's going to help some of that problem. Although removing the friction in the first place is the ideal thing. The funds used for scholarships. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. That's what the sponsors do. And have we ever thought about having meeting content that comes from national that we can then use to market both national and regional chapter membership and content? Yeah. I mean, that's where we'd like to go. Yeah. So whether we could do just again thinking out loud here and get more info and idea what you're pointing at there, Jamie. Do these webinars that we put together that we're offering free? Do we have let's say proceedings papers or something like that we can send down to you so that you can present and have a meeting over? We see the individuals at AEE World or East or West, maybe getting those individuals that present at the conferences to then follow up maybe a month or two later and present the same presentation that was at World in their local area, and try and see, so that then you're getting people that can't make it to the big events like World, they're still seeing some of that content and networking with those individuals. So maybe there's possibilities for that, and we can involve Cheyenne on some of that and trying to get those individuals to be more involved in the local chapters. Have we ever thought about having, that's the same one. Do you have the ability to show the questions online?
No, they don't. They only see their own questions.
Oh, so yeah, so you only see your own questions, unfortunately. Can we cut and paste these out and send them after the meeting, or?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Well, what I can do is I can download a Q&A report and send it to Michael, and then Michael, if you want to actually respond to some of these and share that with.
There's actually there's actually an ability to be able to show answered questions, but I'm talking rather than typing into the reply box.
Plus, on top of that, each of these sessions is recorded, and those that attend get a copy of the recording. So that's not a written record, but it is a verbal record.
I would love to get, obviously you type it in quickly there. I'd love to get more background on each of these questions coming in and really trying to find out what the pain points are on those. I might not be the direct source to answer all of these, but I can certainly, after a conversation, get you to the right person over here. Whether it's Cheyenne about speakers, or maybe Michelle for a little bit more support on some of on the chapter stuff. So we can certainly do that.
Michael, one of the questions that came through accidentally got skipped over was a request for your email address, and I would add to that question phone number. Is there some way?
It's not on screen.
So it's in this PowerPoint. but I'll tell you, it's just Michael at aeecenter.org. So MICHAEL. And my phone number, my direct cell line for any of you guys want to call me, is 404-819-9260. And you call me anytime.
Bob, is that not on your screen right now?
Hold on. Yes, I see it now. Yes, it is. We
yeah.
hadn't gotten to that slide yet during the presentation. I got it.
You may. So again, I'm going to give you my phone number again if you want to write it down. It's 404-819-9260. I know this doesn't maybe help the international, but by all means, send me a text first, because obviously your number may be unknown to me, and with all of these calls that you get from whatever sources, you know, you see the number, you don't maybe recognize it, so maybe you don't answer it. Obviously, you can leave me a message and I'll get back to you straight away. Or you could just text me saying, hey, this is Bill. I'm going to call you in 5 minutes. I'm with the Huntsville AEE chapter. And that'd be fine. And then I can see that call coming in, log you as a contact, and I'll answer the call straight away.
Rick, you asked if we could send out contact information via email after the event. Once I convert this recording and send the link to the recording out, that will come with an email. I'll add Michael's email and contact information in that email that you receive then. So all of you will receive that. Larry is asking, what is national? He doesn't know that.
So that national, I'm just using that as opposed to local. So Larry, I'm saying national for here. It's really being an AE member. So that's a terminology that I'm using. So basically, we've got local chapter members, whether they're here in the US, or local chapter members from chapters in different countries around the world. And then we obviously got the AEE membership, which is out of this office here in Atlanta. So when I say national, that's how I'm referring to it. And that was a confusing statement that came up in our committee. You know, what is it national? Is it international? Is it local chapter? And maybe clarifying that across the board is something that we definitely need to do.
Tom, you've asked about contact information of attendees. Do you mean the attendees of this webinar? Because I will also say that we err on the side of caution when it comes to sharing contact information.
Yeah, and then I'm going to, that's an absolutely great question that you just asked. Basically, Holly asked, what is the basic question for each local chapter? What is your purpose? And obviously there's going to be some regionalities in that, but if we can, you know, show that differentiation between the local and AE as a whole, definitely. And I'm sure you may well have different answers to that based on where you are and what you think your chapter is doing. But if we can spell that out in, you know, 5 bullets, okay, this is what the local chapter will do for you. And really, you know, we sort of do that. I'm sure there's areas on the website that we say, hey, this is what the local chapter does. But the key point where I want to try and get to is really identify the pain points and making sure that the value that we say we add, that we actually do. There's no benefit to us saying, hey guys, you know, you get free magazine subscriptions because you're an AE member, if nobody has got time to read magazines and they don't even get them sent to them. So we're touting that as a great benefit when, let's say, 95% of our members don't feel it's a benefit because they don't use it. So what we've got to do is align that value to how all members are feeling. And whether that's the existing benefits or creating new benefits for what their pains are.
Okay, Tom, you said you find it difficult to contact other chapters. With regards to that, I would say if you're trying to reach out to other chapters for support or information, maybe go through Ruth and Michelle Whitlock here and just request the information that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. There is some information available online, but not all of that is out there because, again, we just don't put all of that contact information out there. It's private, so we're careful how we share that. But if there are specific people you're trying to reach or specific chapters, let us know, and we'll see if we can help you.
Okay, great discussion, Michael. Knocked it out of the ballpark. If you would, Sharon, send it back to me, and we'll go ahead and wrap things up here. A lot of good questions from everybody. Really appreciate really appreciate them. We're looking forward to seeing everyone back at AEE World in Washington, D.C. at the end of September. I'm not sure, Sharon, if you're seeing the presentation or the agenda.
See you right now, Bob.
Okay, we need the agenda up, so let me see if I can do that. There, let's try that. Hopefully it's showing the agenda. But okay, well, let's just keep moving because of our time. We just want to make sure that everybody has a chance to get out there to AEE World. Michael will be there along with Sharon and myself, so we look forward to seeing you there. Also, we are always looking for presentation topics. It'd be hard to beat Michael's today, I guarantee you, but we do appreciate thoughts and ideas, and I will be asking you individually for some of those. Had a great audience today, had over 30 people, I believe, online this time. So we look forward. Our next meeting will be in October. Our next webinar will be October the 23rd. And I look forward to each of you joining in and bringing somebody with you. The questions were great today. Thank you for those. We tried to answer them as best as we could. Michael did a great job again. Michael, if you got any closing comments that you or Sharon, either one, would like to make as we sign off today.
I would just say, you've got my contact details. Get in touch with me. I'm moving. This first part of the year, I'd say it's it's 3 quarters gone. But I've been spending a lot of time on the events and the rebranding. But moving into the last part of the year and through 2020, I'm going to be focusing a lot more on membership and chapters and trying to support you guys. So contact me. Let me know what the issues are and how I can help you, and then we'll get things in the pipeline and try to make things and get things done for you. So I'll be at AEE World. I'll try and make it to the chapter meeting. So you see me. You've got a photograph of me. I'm the bald British guy with glasses. So hunt me down and give me some more questions. Give me some more feedback. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Michael. All right. Thanks, everyone, for your time and your participation today. It's great when we get active participation, questions, and feedback, and that's why we do these webinars, to give that opportunity. That ends our webinar for today. Thanks again for your time. Goodbye.
Thank you, Bob.